Hey guys, welcome back to Cultivation with Christy. I'm Christy. Hi, as you can see, I'm hot. I've been standing over the stove, oven, whatever for the last couple of hours. I had intended to do a video on how to make cinnamon rolls from leftover mashed potatoes, but Adon asked me to make bread, and I had several other things that I needed to do too, so I took out the sticks. Yes, there's multiple sticks of butter and the cream cheese to do the recipe, but it is now 6:30 p.m. so I'm not gonna make it, but I will make it tomorrow. But I wanted to show you what I did do. I made homemade Cheez-It crackers with sourdough discard. They're actually pretty good, and they do taste like Cheez-Its. I just need to make them a little bit thinner next time. You see, they're kind of thick and they took forever to cook, but the flavor is good. Then, excuse the mess, I haven't cleaned yet. Well, I started the dishwasher, but I still gotta do the hand wash stuff. And my bread, which I used too much yeast. But Adon wanted sandwich bread. He got sandwich bread. And I made noodles. These are the small macaroni noodles. And I made quite a bit of them. Hopefully that'll last us a little while. I'm going to try to let them dry and see how it does. Then I made hamburger buns and hot dog buns. So I used the same recipe for the hamburger or the hot dog buns that I do for the hamburger buns, but the last couple of times I made the hamburger buns, they were a little small. So the hot dog buns make 6 or 8, and I did 6 of the hamburger buns, and they turned out a good normal hamburger size. So note to self, if you follow my recipe for the hot dog buns that make 8, then do 6. But if you want sliders, do 8. So I'm cleaning the noodle maker now, and Adon is cooking our steak and lobster for our belated Valentine's dinner. And I'm going to move the 2 scoops of dirt he went and got me this morning tomorrow, and then maybe in the afternoon or maybe before I start moving soil, I can make the cinnamon rolls. But I'll catch up with you then. Hey guys, it's the next day. Slept like crap. I'm super tired, but I promised you some leftover mashed potatoes, cinnamon rolls, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, let me show you what I got going on. I've got 4 sticks of butter, which it really calls for almost 5, but I'm not gonna use that much. Coming to room temperature, make it easier to melt. I've got 1 pack of cream cheese for the topping. I've got about a cup of mashed potatoes. It can be any kind. Garlic, you won't taste it. These are actually have ranch dressing mix in it. Then I got yeast. I got a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk. And then I got a 1/4 of a cup of milk, all warmed to between 90 and 100 degrees. So I've got my KitchenAid set up here with the dough hook. I'm going to add the warmed mashed potatoes. Now you can do these cold and just have really hot milk and then let everything cool. But I tried to bring everything up to the same temperature. That way I don't have to wait for everything to cool. And that's a cup of mashed potatoes, half a cup of milk plus 2 tablespoons, and we're gonna mix that together. Okay, so now we're going to check the temperature. And we're gonna add, it's a little over 100 degrees, so it's a little warm. So I'm gonna add 1/4 a cup of warm water. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar to feed your yeast. I'm gonna mix that together. So we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast, and I have the Bread Machine Fast Rise yeast, which is just fine for this recipe. And then we're going to mix it and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, this is what we looked like before. And this is what it looks like after. So you want your yeast nice and bubbly. If you're not sure how old your yeast is, I would go ahead and throw it away and buy some new stuff, because then you're just going to waste your mashed potatoes and your milk because it's not going to help. And so if your yeast is not bubbly, then you want to start over or get some more yeast. Alright, I went ahead and swapped out the dough hook for the blending thing because I know the dough hook isn't going to do the trick. So I've already got our first stick of butter ready to go in. Two eggs going in. And a 1/2 cup of sugar. This is what we're looking like. Let's see if I can show you. It looks like a very runny pudding. Okay, now we're going to add our flour, a 1/2 cup at a time. I now buy the big bag. You saw all the baking I did yesterday, and this bag was full. So now I'm gonna put the dough hook back on. You're gonna have to help me count because I'm gonna forget. Let me bring it over. All right, 1/2 cup at a time. Well, I'll just go ahead. Half. And we're going to add a total of 4.5 cups. So that's 9 1/2 cups. Okay, you saw me add quite a bit more flour than the recipe called for, and that's probably because I didn't measure out the mashed potatoes. So we ended up having more mashed potatoes. But you see how it's pulling away from the bottom there? That's what you want. You'll keep adding flour a little bit at a time until it has stopped sticking to the side. And it'll pull away all that dough from the side of the bowl. We're almost there. And I'm only adding maybe this much at a time after the 4.5 cups. Really says 4 1/4, but whatever. You use how much you need. Alright, let's see what we look like. You see, it's not as sticky. Like, it's still moist, but it's not sticking to my hands like it was. So, I've got this bowl here that's been sprayed with cooking spray. You're just gonna dump the dough out. And you see, it's still got a little bit stuck to the sides, but most of it has started to clean out. So, we are gonna cover this with a towel for about an hour until it's risen and doubled in size. So see, this is what it looks like before and after. So here's what I got going on. My dough has doubled in size. It's been an hour. Turn off the timer. I've got my surface cleaned and floured. I have 2.5 sticks of butter melted. I have my baking sheet lined and sprayed, and I'm going to preheat the oven to 350. While we were away, I made me some coffee, which I need to drink, and some sweet potato, bacon, and egg, cheese, hash stuff for lunch or breakfast for the week. I've already had some. It was delicious. So now we're going to take half of this dough and roll it out. Take your aggression out on it. Punch it a few times. Then divide it in half. P.S. I sprayed the top of this dough when I put it in the sprayed bowl as well. I'm just going to coat it in a little bit of that flour. Let me back you up so you can see what I'm doing. Alright. The flour. And you want to roll it out into a rectangle about 1/4 inch thick. Alright, we have our rectangle dough about 1/4 inch thick. You can even see the seasoning from the mashed potatoes in there, but I promise you you cannot taste it. So now what we're gonna do, again, I have 2.5 sticks of butter melted. What I'm gonna do is pour about half, so this is roughly 1.5 cups, which it called for double this in the recipe, but that's a little overboard. And then you're going to take 1 cup, so this is 1/2 cup of sugar. And mix it in with your butter. Okay, I'm not gonna quite do a full cup because, good Lord. I'm sure it'll be good, and you can do the full cup if you would like. These are your cinnamon rolls. You make them how you want to. Get that pretty well mixed in. Now we're going to take a liberal sprinkling of cinnamon. Now we're going to roll her up. As you can see, I added a little bit more butter to the second round. I don't know how she uses 2.5 cups because I didn't even use all that butter and I made a mess. So I would do probably 2 sticks of butter and melt 1 stick, maybe less than that. Or add more sugar, I guess. I don't know, but it went everywhere and made a mess. So now, oven is preheated. We're gonna pop these in. Ooh, they're heavy. 18 to 20 minutes until they have tripled in size and are golden brown. We'll start with 18. All right, let's see what they look like after 18 minutes. Oh yeah, I could stand a couple more minutes. I'm gonna give it another 5. Okay, while our cinnamon rolls finish up, I'm gonna make the cream cheese frosting. So I have 1 block of, this is actually Neufchâtel. It's a lower fat cream cheese. But anyway, 1 block of cream cheese. Then it's supposed to be 1/4 of a cup, which is a 1/2 stick of room temperature butter. But I have this butter left over from the cinnamon rolls itself. So we're going to see if this works. Add a little bit of vanilla. Then we're going to add the powdered sugar 1/2 cup at a time for 2 cups. We just add about 2 tablespoons of milk or heavy cream. Taste test. It's good. All right, they got the golden brown color. They all seem to be done. I guess if I really wanted to, you could stick a toothpick in there and make sure. But we've got the cream cheese icing to go on top, which you don't want to do that until they're completely cool or you'll end up with a runny mess. All right, so let's pull one of these out of here. Nice and flaky. Got the cinnamon sugar, which I guess if you like a lot of cinnamon oozy stuff, you do want to use more butter, but I'm sure they both taste the same. I'm gonna let this cool a minute and then I'm gonna put cream cheese on it and then we're gonna taste it. Okay, it's still probably a little too hot for icing, but I can't wait. I'm an icing kind of gal. Is frosting and icing the same thing? I don't know. Anyway, there she is. Beautiful. Let's see. How pretty. Okay. Very good. You cannot taste the mashed potatoes. It is light, it is fluffy. The inside's still hot. very fluffy. You're not gonna... Anyway, I'm going to reheat my coffee now that it's noon and enjoy this cinnamon roll, and let me know if you try it. It's really good. Thanks for hanging out, guys.